Hunter Biden, the only living son of President Joe Biden, is attracting scrutiny once again. Federal prosecutors have reportedly gathered enough evidence to charge him with tax crimes and for making a false statement related to a gun purchase, according to U.S. media. Hunter Biden, a longtime target for federal investigations over potential violations of tax and money laundering laws since 2018, new reports suggest that investigators have narrowed it on 2 charges: whether he did not report all of his income and whether he lied about his drug use when purchasing a handgun. Former President Donald Trump and his allies have long alleged that the 52-year-old was guilty of wrongdoing, saying his foreign business dealings, particularly in China and Ukraine, indicated a pattern of corruption. But while Hunter has publicly admitted to doing regrettable things, both he and the president have denied that he broke any laws. President Biden, who has said he is deeply proud of his son, has stood by him through his public and private struggles. Neither Hunter nor Joe Biden has commented on the potential charges. The possible legal trouble follows years of Hunter Biden's well-documented personal travails, including a public marital breakup and drug addiction problems that have spilled over into politics since his father has entered the White House. It will be up to a U.S. attorney in Delaware, appointed by the former president Donald Trump, to determine whether or not Hunter Biden will ultimately face charges. But in the meantime, what do we know of Hunter Biden and how did we get here?
Well, I can answer that. Hi, my name is Mr.Amazo, and I'm here to give you advice that will lead you to live a long, healthy life, because I cover drugs, chemicals, corruption, and power. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because I already know you're coming back anyway. Now on with the show.
Born in Wilmington, Delaware in 1970 to President Biden and his first wife, Nelia Biden, Hunter was given his mother's maiden name. He was only 2 years old in December 1972, 1 week from Christmas, and less than 6 weeks after his father's election to the U.S. Senate, when a truck rammed into the family car and took the lives of his mother and his baby sister Naomi. The accident left him with a fractured skull and his older brother, Beau, with a broken leg. The elder Mr. Biden, who was not in the car, took his oath of office from their hospital room. This tragic beginning did not stop Hunter Biden, as Hunter would later attend Georgetown University and Yale Law School, graduating in 1996. Between the 2 degrees, he joined the Volunteer Corps, a Catholic group that volunteers to serve marginalized communities. There he met his first wife, Kathleen Buell, a lawyer, and they wed in 1993. They have 3 children, Naomi, Finnegan, and Maisie, but the pair split in 2017. His father is teetotal, but Hunter started drinking as a teenager and confessed to abusing cocaine as a college student. Hunter has been in and out of rehab, and in 2013, he signed up for the U.S. Navy Reserves and took the oath of office before his father, the then vice president, in a White House ceremony. On his very first day of the naval base, he tested positive for cocaine use and was discharged, something he later said was an embarrassing moment in his career. According to The New Yorker, he drank excessively after the death of his older brother Beau from brain cancer in 2015, sometimes only leaving the house to buy vodka. He and Beau were one, his daughter Naomi once wrote on Twitter. One heart, one soul, one mind. During an acrimonious divorce filing in 2017, Ms. Beau accused Hunter of spending extravagantly on his own interests, including drugs, alcohol, prostitutes, strip clubs, and gifts for women with whom he has sexual relations, while leaving the family with no funds to pay legitimate bills. Kathleen Buell would break her silence, telling Good Morning America that Hunter was struggling under a massive drug addiction and that it was heartbreaking and painful because this wasn't who she was married to. In his 2021 memoir, Beautiful Things, Hunter confesses that his infidelity to Miss Buell was the final straw in their marriage. A DNA test in 2019 found he was the biological and legal father of a child born to an exotic dancer, the child being London Alex Roberts. Hunter claimed to have no recollection of their encounter in his memoir, but he has settled a paternity suit with Miss Roberts and now pays her child support. And before his split with Miss Buell was finalized, Hunter began a relationship with his brother's widow, Haley Biden, for 2 years, bonding over the shared and very specific grief of their loss. Only a few weeks later, Hunter would marry a South African filmmaker named Melissa Cohen after a whirlwind 6-day romance. They have 1 son. Speaking out in 2019 on his struggles with addiction, he said, "You don't get rid of it, you figure out how to deal with it." In Beautiful Things, he credits his survival to his family's love, recounting an intervention with his father where Joe Biden would hold his son in an embrace, telling his only living son, "I don't know what else to do. Please tell me what to do, because I don't know." The New York Times reported that he had turned to painting as a form of therapy, quoting him as saying that it keeps me away from people and places where I shouldn't be. However, a 2021 art exhibition to sell his paintings for up to $50,000 a piece created an ethics dilemma and once again placed Hunter Biden back in the headlines. However, Hunter Biden would once again be in the headlines when ex-President Trump and the Republican Party have argued that foreign business dealings involving President Biden's son were questionable and had conflicts of interest. From 2013 to 2016, he held a board seat at the Chinese private equity firm BHR Partners, first as an unpaid member and later owning a 10% equity stake in the fund. Former President Donald Trump has insisted Joe Biden is China's puppet, repeatedly pointing to this position as alleged evidence of his rival's corruption. After his father left the White House in 2017, Hunter also partnered with Chinese billionaire Yi Jianming, an oil tycoon who he helped cooperate with on a natural gas project in Louisiana. The deal appears to have collapsed after Yi was detained by Chinese authorities on corruption charges and subsequently went missing. But it has been business dealings in Ukraine that have stoked the most controversy, as in 2014, Hunter Biden joined the board of a Ukrainian natural gas company named Burisma Holdings, where he was reportedly paid up to $50,000 per month. At the time, his father was actively engaged in anti-corruption work in Ukraine. Vice President Biden at the time rallied other Western leaders to call for the firing of the country's top prosecutor, Viktor Shokin, who faced criticism for blocking corruption investigation. Mr. Shokin was removed by the Ukrainian parliament in 2016. Mr. Trump and some of his allies have alleged that Shokin was removed by the Ukrainian parliament for investigating Burisma Holdings. Allegations of corruption by the Bidens formed the centerpiece of the campaign to impeach President Trump in 2019 after he pressured Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in a telephone call to investigate Hunter's dealings with Burisma. He has since resigned from the boards of both BHR Partners and Burisma Holdings. During the 2020 election campaign, it emerged that a laptop the younger Mr. Biden abandoned at a repair shop contained a 2015 email in which Burisma advisor thanked him for the invitation to meet his father, then the U.S. Vice President in Washington, D.C. Without providing evidence, the elder Mr. Biden called the allegations a smear campaign engineered by Russian disinformation. And though the email has since been authenticated, his representatives have repeatedly denied such a meeting ever took place, adding that Joe has never discussed going into the business with his relatives. The FBI reportedly seized the laptop from the repair shop and is inspecting its contents as part of the federal investigation into the president's son. An NBC News analyst concluded that Hunter's firm brought in about $11 million through its work in Ukraine and China from 2013 to 2018. Including nearly $5 million from the Louisiana gas venture alone. It also reportedly revealed spending of more than $200,000 a month at one point on luxury hotel suites, sports car payments, and cash withdrawals, among other expenditures. Federal investigation in Delaware are now scrutinizing his finances and foreign ties, and Hunter, who denies any illegal activity, says that he is cooperating completely. Hunter Biden claims that he's absolutely 100% certain that at the end of the investigation, he will be cleared of any wrongdoing, something he told CBS News in 2021. Congressional Republicans are also looking into the reports that a wealthy Hollywood lawyer has loaned $2 million to help pay Hunter his back taxes, CBS reported this year. Through it all, Hunter's father has remained supportive, previously stating that he was proud of his son and expected him to emerge stronger from this investigation. Of course, President Biden would say this as, aside from the obvious familiar blood ties, his son Hunter Biden worked at NBNA America, a bank holding company headquartered in Delaware and later acquired by Bank of America. However, his father's close relationship with the bank, one of the largest employers in Delaware and a top contributor to his political campaigns, earned him the moniker of the senator from MBNA. As Hunter Biden rose to the rank of executive vice president, his father pushed bankruptcy reform legislation, favorable to the bank through the Senate. In the early 2000s, while still receiving consulting fees from the bank, Hunter opened a Washington lobbying practice that, according to Political magazine, saw him land clients with interests that overlapped with his father's committee assignments and legislative priorities. The father-son relationship at the time, he told The New Yorker, was that neither would speak to the other about lobbying work. President Biden has maintained this to be true in case of more recent allegations of wrongdoing as well.